Hi guys, today we are going to be doing this. Now, before we get into this, remember you can now buy me a tea, and honestly, I am gagging for a cup of tea. I'm really thirsty. The weather in England is super hot at the moment, so don't be shy. I need a new computer, so get over there now. Right, as always, this project is free to download from my website, so stick around to the end and I'll show you how you can do that. Let's get into it. So here we are inside of DaVinci Fusion. I'm going to drag in our clock. Let's rename that because it's coming as a long name. So I'm going to click on it, hit F2 and just call it clock. Take the output from that and connect it into our media out like that. And by clicking this dot, I can put it in the window like so. Next thing we need to do is add a mask to our clock. So I'm going to click on the clock, come up to the toolbar. You can use either a B-spline or a polygon mask. I'm going to use a polygon. And when I add it, what's happened is it's vanished in the window. So if we come across to the right hand side, we can click invert and it'll bring it all back for us. Now to zoom in and out, I'm using control middle mouse. If I want to move the image around, I'm just using the middle mouse. So I'm going to zoom in, create a point just here, come down to the 9, and I'm just going to grab some of this edge here. And because it's a PNG, I can actually go a bit wild now because I'm on the outside. But when I get round to the 3, I need to behave and come in and just say put a dot just there. Zoom into the center, put a dot just there, and then make sure you connect it to the first one you created to create the mask, and you'll get something that looks like that. Now what you can do is go back to the mask and unclick that invert, and it shows you what we've got, which is that. Now if I zoom in, you'll see this line here is a bit curvy. And the reason for that is I've set my default mask to be actually curvy. So what I can do to straighten that out is I can select them all like this, then come up to the toolbar and you see this one here. I'm just going to click on that and it'll straighten everything out. Let's just go in and check that. Looking good to me. Right, next thing we're going to do is we are going to add a transform. So I'm going to click on the clock, come up to the toolbar, and we're going to add a transform just here. With the transform selected, go to the toolbar, see this arrow, click that, takes us all the way to the beginning. Then we can come over to the angle and we can click a keyframe here. Then we go to this arrow and click all the way to the end. And then what we'll do is we'll type in -360 like that. And as you can imagine, it's just a clock rotating around like that. Now the next node that we're adding is the one with all the fun in it. So I'm going to click on our transform. I'm actually going to come up to the effects menu just here because for some reason on my system it comes in incorrectly, and I'm just going to add this in like that. Now that is not connected. I know that because the white line's in front of it. So I'm just going to connect it in quickly like so. Now with our duplicate selected, if I come over to the right hand side, you'll see it says we've got 2 copies, but I'm only seeing 1 in the window. And the reason for that is if I come to the center X and Y and move this, you can see they're sitting on top of each other. I'm just going to double click here to reset that. Now the duplicate node is really powerful. Let me show you what I mean. If I go down to the size just here and type in 0.5, what it's done is made the duplicate version 50% of the original. Now if I change the amount to say 3 copies, so I'll just come here, type in 3, it's done exactly the same again, half the size of that one. And we can have some fun with that. What we're going to do is go all the way to the beginning just there. First thing I'm going to do actually is just change the angle. So I'm going to go into this angle just here. I'm going to change that to say 35 like that. Then I'm going to come up to the size. I'm going to change that to 0.8 like so. And I'm going to remember to click this dot just here to create the keyframe. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to say frame 60. I'm going to take this size right down. Let's make it 0.2. Then we'll go to say frame 100. Easiest way to do it is just double click here, type in 100 like that. And then we can bring that back up to say 0.8 like that. Then what we'll do is we'll go to say frame 140 and we'll take it down to 0.6. Then we'll go to say frame 200 and we'll take it down to say 0.3. We'll come up to frame 240 and we'll change it back to 0.7, sorry. And then on the last frame, if I click this arrow just here, because we started with 0.8, I'm going to finish on 0.8. And that means that the animation will actually loop. So now if I play that back, you see we're getting this, which is really cool. But we can do better, people. We can do a lot better. Let me show you what I mean. What I can do is actually click on this transform, right click and hit copy, come up, blank area, right click and hit paste. I can then take the output from the clock and put it into that transform. And what is the point of that? Well, the reason is, if I click on this transform, come over to the right hand side, you see these flip functions here. If I flip it like that, we now have the clock on the opposite side. So the original one was there, the flip version is there. So now we're having clocks going in the opposite direction, which is a really cool effect. Now I need to connect this transform into this duplicate. Now if I do it, watch what happens. It goes into the mask input, which is exactly not what we want. We want it to go in properly. The way you do that is you right click on the duplicate node, come up, hit copy, blank area, right click and hit paste instance, this one just here. What it's done is it's taken all the values from this one and put it to this one. So I can now connect this transform into there like that. Let's just give ourselves some space. I'm going to click on this duplicate here. And then what I'm going to do is add a merge, this one just here. And I can now take the output from this duplicate and connect it in like so. And then when we put that in the window, we get this, which is really cool. Let's check out the animation in the main page and see how that looks. Now when I play that back, we get this. How cool is that? Now all the parameters inside of DaVinci Fusion are editable. So for instance, if I go back in there and go to this transform just here and click to the end, I can change that to say minus 720, and so that the two are moving at different speeds. And the other thing I can do is I can actually go to the duplicate node just here, and you can play around with the time offset. So I could make that say 5. If we go inside and have a look, what you'll see is that each iteration is moving 5 seconds after the top one. So you get some really cool effects. Another thing we can do to make it take it to the next level is I'm just going to zoom out there a little bit. Going to click on the clock, and then what I'm going to do is hit shift space bar, and we're going to add a drop shadow, and that adds some real depth to it. If that's too much, just take the drop distance back a little bit to something more manageable like that. Right, let's have a look at that. So I am loving that. Now the way I added the clouds and everything, I just downloaded some footage of Vectreezy, I think it was, or Pexels. I took that footage into the color page, then I just lowered the gamma and the lift, took it right down like that. And then if I put that underneath like that, you can see we get that. Now for the buildings, I created these in Affinity Photo. All I did was drag them in, put them underneath the composition like that. Change the size in the right hand side. And then just did an animation. Let's just do this. So what I did was stretch that out at this frame, create a keyframe on the position and rotation. At the end, create another keyframe on the position and rotation. This time what we'll do is we'll make this one say 65, so it's like that. Then what we'll do is we'll take the position value right to the top of the screen. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Like that. go to the first frame by hitting this key here, and then take that right down to the bottom like that. Now when we animate that, we get this. So we've got this animation going like that. All I did then was I gave myself some room, went into the media pool, dragged in my next building, say this one just here. I went down to this clip just here, right clicked and hit copy. Then I went to the one I've just pulled in, right click and hit paste attributes, and that'll copy the entire animation over to that one just there. Now in the new version of DaVinci, you can actually go up to the keyframes just here. We can see our keyframes just there. Let's just drag that out, make sure we've got them. Go here if you need to and zoom in and out. There we are. And if you need to make the animation quicker, what you can do is just grab your keyframes, move it across like that, and then you can just offset it in your window like this, so that the next one comes in like so. I did this for both sides, and that's how I ended up with this. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. You can download this project from my website if you want to play around with it. All you need to do is go down, hit subscribe, and then go to the website, put in your email address. Don't worry, I hate spam, so I won't be spamming you. You can download this project or any other project for free of charge. And if you've got any ideas for tutorials that you'd like me to do, drop me a comment below. I love reading them. I will see you in the next one.